Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by asking you a simple yet powerful question. If today was the last day of your life, how would you live it? Every morning we are gifted with 24 golden hours, each hour carrying within it opportunities, blessings, and possibilities. But the truth is, many of us waste these hours on regrets of the past or worries of the future, forgetting that today, this very moment, is all we truly own. Ladies and gentlemen, time is life's most precious gift. We often think of wealth, possessions, or even health as the most valuable assets we can have. But the truth is, none of these matter without time. You can lose money and earn it back. You can fall ill and regain your health. You can lose a job and find another. But when a second, a minute, or an hour passes by, it never returns. Time once gone is gone forever, and that makes it the most priceless gift that has been placed into our hands each day. Every morning when we wake up, we are given 24 fresh hours, a clean page on which to write the story of our lives. Some people treat these hours as treasures and invest them wisely, while others waste them as though they will be endlessly replenished. But the reality is, none of us know how many days we have been granted, and that uncertainty alone should awaken us to the value of every single moment we are breathing. Think about it for a moment. Time is the only resource that is completely equal for all of humanity. No matter where you were born, what your background is, or what your financial condition may be, every single person is given the same 24 hours in a day. The richest person in the world cannot buy more hours, and the poorest cannot be given less. That is the incredible fairness of time. The difference lies not in how much of it we get, but in how we choose to use it. One person may use those hours to learn, to grow, to serve, to build, to dream, and to create. Another person may spend those hours in laziness, procrastination, or distractions that bear no fruit. And when both people reach the end of their day, the same 24 hours would have passed, but the outcomes of their choices would look completely different. Time is also a reminder of how fragile life truly is. Every second that ticks on the clock brings us closer to the end of our journey on this earth. That may sound frightening, but it is not meant to make you anxious. It is meant to make you aware. When you become aware that your time is limited, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. You stop spending it on grudges, on regrets, on people who drain your energy, or on fears that paralyze your potential. Instead, you start investing your time in love, in growth, in meaningful work, in building a legacy, in becoming the best version of yourself, and in serving others. Awareness of the value of time pushes you to live intentionally because you understand that each passing moment is like a drop of water in the ocean of your destiny. So many people waste their days waiting for a perfect time to start something important. They say, "I will pursue my dream later," or "I will spend time with my loved ones when I'm less busy," or "I will change my habits tomorrow." But the tragedy is that tomorrow is never guaranteed. How many people wake up in the morning believing they have a lifetime ahead of them, only for the unexpected to take it all away? We don't control the length of our lives, but we do control how we spend the time we have been given. That is why every day should be lived as though it matters, because it truly does. If you see time as a gift, your perspective on life changes. You stop asking, "How can I kill time?" and you start asking, "How can I make the most of time?" Because the phrase, "killing time," is perhaps one of the saddest expressions we use. Why would anyone want to kill something so valuable, something that can never be revived? Instead, think of every moment as a seed. If you plant it wisely, it will grow into a tree that will bear fruit for you and for others. If you waste it, the ground remains barren, and nothing can be harvested. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look back at your life, it won't be the material possessions that will define your story. It will be the way you used your time. Did you spend it chasing empty things, or did you spend it creating memories, making an impact, and fulfilling your purpose? Your entire life is nothing but the sum total of how you used your hours and days. That is why you must begin to treasure time, to honor it, and to recognize that it is the most precious gift you are given every single morning. Ladies and gentlemen, mornings set the tone for your entire day. The first few moments after you wake up carry more power than you realize. They can shape your mindset, your energy, your focus, and the way you approach every single challenge ahead. If you begin your morning with negativity, rushing, and complaints, you will likely carry that same heaviness into the rest of your day. But if you choose to begin your morning with gratitude, intention, and clarity, you create momentum that carries you forward with strength and purpose. That is why the way you spend your mornings is not a small detail in life. It is a foundation for everything that follows. Think about it. How many people wake up and immediately reach for their phone, flooding their mind with emails, messages, or social media? The moment their eyes open, their focus is pulled in 100 directions, and they lose control of their thoughts before they even step out of bed. Instead of creating the day, they react to the world, and that reaction sets a tone of stress, distraction, and restlessness. Compare that to someone who begins their morning by pausing, by taking a deep breath, by offering thanks for simply being alive, by focusing on what they want to create instead of what they fear. That person steps into the day with ownership, with peace, and with clarity. The external circumstances may be the same, but the internal preparation makes the day entirely different. Mornings are like the sunrise of your spirit. They carry freshness, renewal, and a sense of beginning again. Every single day you wake up, you are given a new chance, another opportunity to rewrite your story. No matter what mistakes you made yesterday, the morning gives you permission to start again. But the choice is always yours. Will you carry the weight of yesterday's failures into today, or will you release them and step forward with hope? Your morning is the key to answering that question. When you rise with a mindset of gratitude, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Instead of waking up thinking about what you don't have, you begin by appreciating what you do have. The gift of life, the chance to breathe, the ability to see, to hear, to walk, to love, to dream. Gratitude in the morning is like lighting a lamp in the darkness. It immediately changes the atmosphere of your heart, and that glow carries into every decision you make throughout the day. A grateful morning becomes a grateful life because your eyes are trained to see blessings instead of burdens. It is also important to understand that mornings are a time of alignment. They allow you to align your thoughts with your values and your actions with your goals. If you wake up and set an intention for your day, you create a compass for your actions. Without that, you drift, allowing circumstances and distractions to dictate how your hours unfold. But with intention, you become the driver instead of the passenger. Your morning can be as simple as spending a few quiet minutes in reflection, prayer, or journaling, reminding yourself of who you are and what truly matters to you. Those few minutes can shift the entire trajectory of your day because they bring your focus back to what is essential. Mornings also affect your energy. The way you wake up physically impacts how you feel mentally and emotionally. If you drag yourself out of bed at the last minute, rushing to catch up, your body stays in survival mode for hours. But if you take even a small amount of time to stretch, breathe deeply, or move your body, you tell yourself that you are preparing not just to exist, but to live with strength. Energy is contagious, and when you carry good energy from the morning, you spread it to everyone you meet. One kind smile, one patient response, one calm decision. All of these ripple outward because you began your day with centered energy instead of scattered chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, mornings are not about perfection. They are about preparation. You don't need to spend hours creating an elaborate routine. What matters most is how you choose to show up. Even 5 intentional minutes in the morning can outweigh hours of wasted energy later in the day. A calm start creates a calm flow. A positive start creates a positive outcome. And when you repeat this day after day, your mornings begin to shape not only your days, but your entire life. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. And when you win enough days, you win your life. Ladies and gentlemen, afternoons are for focus. The morning may set the tone, but the afternoon is where your discipline is tested and your choices reveal how much you value your time. By the time midday arrives, distractions start to multiply, fatigue begins to creep in, and the temptation to drift into unproductive habits grows stronger. This is the time when many people lose control of their day. They started with good intentions in the morning, but by the afternoon they are scrolling endlessly, procrastinating, or giving in to interruptions that steal their energy and prevent them from moving forward. Yet if you can master your afternoons, you can transform your day into something powerful. Because the afternoon hours are the backbone of productivity and the place where real progress is made. Think of your afternoon as a battlefield between focus and distraction. Everything around you will try to pull your attention in different directions. People will demand your time. Notifications will call out to you. Your own mind may wander toward comfort instead of commitment. But it is in this struggle that you have the opportunity to choose. Will you surrender to distraction and waste the most crucial part of your day? Or will you harness your focus and direct it towards something meaningful? Those who choose focus win not just their afternoon, but their future, because consistent focus builds consistent results. Ladies and gentlemen, afternoons are often where dreams are either built or buried. Consider how many goals are abandoned, not because people lacked talent or opportunity, but because they lacked the discipline to focus when it mattered most. A dream is not destroyed in one dramatic moment. It is slowly eroded in the small, repeated acts of distraction. Every afternoon you spend avoiding what matters is another step away from the life you could have lived. But every afternoon you devote to deliberate focus, to practicing your craft, to working on your vision, is another step toward creating the life you imagine. Focus in the afternoon is also about energy management. Many people assume they need more time when in reality they need more focus. Hours can slip away unnoticed if your mind is scattered. But even a single focused hour in the afternoon can accomplish more than 4 distracted hours. Imagine the impact if you treated your afternoons as sacred, guarding them from noise and devoting them fully to what matters. The progress you would see in weeks, in months, in years would be extraordinary. This is why afternoons should not be wasted on meaningless tasks, gossip, or distractions that do not serve your growth. They should be invested like precious currency into what will multiply and return value to your life. Afternoons are also the place where perseverance is cultivated. In the morning, motivation may be high, but motivation fades. By the afternoon, discipline must take over. Discipline is what carries you when inspiration is gone. Discipline is what reminds you of your why when your body feels tired and your mind wants to wander. Discipline is the voice that tells you, keep going, keep building, keep focusing, even when no one is watching and no immediate reward is in sight. Those who learn to honor their afternoons with discipline discover that progress is not a matter of chance, but of consistent, focused effort, repeated day after day. Ladies and gentlemen, think of the afternoon as the bridge between what you hoped for in the morning and what you will reflect on in the evening. The morning gives you hope, the evening gives you reflection, but the afternoon gives you action. Without action, hope becomes empty and reflection becomes regret. But with action, hope becomes reality and reflection becomes gratitude. That action requires focus because scattered effort will never build anything solid. Just as a magnifying glass can focus sunlight to create fire, your focused attention in the afternoon can ignite results that scattered attention could never achieve. When you look at the lives of people who accomplish extraordinary things, you will see not just talent or luck, but a deep respect for focus. They guard their time as though it were treasure, because it is. They understand that once the afternoon passes, it cannot be reclaimed. They know that dreams are not built in occasional bursts of inspiration, but in the consistent practice of focus, even when no one applauds and no one notices. And so they sit down in the afternoon, shut out the noise, and give themselves fully to the task at hand. That is where books are written, businesses are built, skills are mastered, and destinies are shaped. Your afternoons, ladies and gentlemen, are a test of how much you value your purpose. If you choose distraction, you will spend your life drifting from one unfulfilled day to another, always wondering why your dreams seem distant. But if you choose focus, you will find yourself slowly but surely moving closer to the life you were created to live. The afternoon is not just another part of the day. It is the arena where your focus transforms ideas into action, and action transforms vision into reality. Ladies and gentlemen, evenings are for reflection and relationships. After the rush of the morning and the focus of the afternoon, the evening arrives as a sacred pause, a time when the noise begins to settle and life gives you space to look inward and to look around at the people who matter most. Too often, people treat evenings as hours to waste, filling them with endless scrolling, meaningless distractions, or dwelling on the stresses of the day. But evenings carry a power that many overlook. They are the bookend of your day, the moment where you can either choose to close it in peace and gratitude or to let it slip away in carelessness. Reflection in the evening is one of the most powerful practices you can adopt. The pace of the day may not allow you to pause and think deeply, but when night begins to fall, you are given the chance to ask yourself important questions. What did I do today that moved me closer to my goals? What did I allow to distract me? Where did I grow and where did I fall short? These questions are not meant to fill you with regret, but to guide you toward awareness. Without reflection, you repeat the same mistakes. With reflection, you learn, you adjust, and you become better prepared for tomorrow. Even 5 minutes of honest reflection can turn an ordinary evening into a transformative one. Reflection also creates gratitude. When you pause to look back at your day, you begin to notice the blessings you may have overlooked in the rush of living. A smile from a stranger, a moment of laughter, a task completed, a lesson learned. These are treasures that slip through unnoticed unless you slow down to recognize them. Gratitude is not about having a perfect day, but about finding light even in the smallest details. And when you end your evening with gratitude, you go to sleep with peace, carrying no bitterness, no resentment, just a heart that appreciates the gift of another day lived. Evenings are not only about reflection on yourself, but also about the relationships that shape your life. After the day's responsibilities, the evening is when you can give your time and attention to the people who mean the most to you. In the rush of work and duties, it is easy to neglect family, friends, or loved ones, telling yourself that you will spend time with them tomorrow. But tomorrow is uncertain, and love cannot be postponed. The evening gives you a chance to sit down with your children, to share a meal with your family, to call a friend, to ask your spouse how their day was, to simply be present with the people who bring meaning to your existence. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is that no achievement, no wealth, no success will ever replace the joy of genuine human connection. You can accomplish many things in your afternoon focus, but if you do not nurture your relationships in the evening, you will find yourself surrounded by accomplishments and yet feeling empty. The evening is the time to reconnect, to heal misunderstandings, to forgive, to listen, and to strengthen the bonds that carry you through the storms of life. Relationships are not built in grand gestures. They are built in these small, consistent moments of being present. Evenings also teach balance. If you dedicate your mornings and afternoons to work and productivity, the evening reminds you that life is not only about doing, but also about being. It is about slowing down, about breathing, about restoring your soul. Without balance, you risk burning out, and burnout steals the joy of every achievement. By honoring your evenings with reflection and relationships, you allow your spirit to rest, your mind to reset, and your heart to reconnect. This balance is what gives you the strength to rise again with purpose the next morning. Imagine ending your evening not with frustration or endless worry, but with peace. Imagine sitting quietly, reflecting on your day, appreciating the lessons, forgiving yourself for the mistakes, and cherishing the people around you. That kind of evening does not just prepare you for sleep, it prepares you for life, because when you reflect and nurture relationships daily, you create a cycle of growth, gratitude, and love that carries forward into every part of your life. Evenings are often underestimated, yet they hold the power to shape the quality of your days. If your morning sets the tone and your afternoon builds momentum, your evening seals the lessons and deepens the connections. It is not about how much you do, but about how intentional you are. A single conversation with a loved one, a single moment of gratitude, a single act of reflection can outweigh hours of mindless distraction. The evening is not the leftover of the day. It is the golden opportunity to bring meaning to everything that has happened and to plant seeds of hope for what is to come. Ladies and gentlemen, every day is a canvas, and your actions are the brush strokes that paint your destiny. The moment you wake up, life hands you a blank space, pure and untouched, waiting for you to decide what colors you will use and what picture you will create. Some people allow others to hold the brush for them, letting circumstances, negativity, or fear dictate the picture of their lives. But the truth is, you are the artist of your own story, and every choice you make is a stroke on the canvas of today. Whether that canvas turns into a masterpiece of purpose and beauty or remains a dull, unfinished sketch depends entirely on how you choose to live your hours. Think of the power hidden in a single day. Great dreams are not accomplished overnight, but they are built day by day, stroke by stroke, action by action. Each day may feel ordinary, but when you look back, you realize that your life is nothing but the collection of your days. If every day is wasted, life becomes a wasted opportunity. But if every day is painted with intention, then life itself becomes a work of art. The canvas does not demand perfection, it demands presence. It requires you to show up, to choose your colors, to keep painting even when mistakes are made. And the beauty of life is that even when you make errors, you can blend them into the larger picture, turning them into shadows that give depth and meaning to your story. Ladies and gentlemen, many people fail to see the gift of each day because they are waiting for the right time to begin painting. They tell themselves they will start when conditions are perfect, when they feel ready, when the world approves. But the canvas of life does not wait. Every day you hesitate, the page is filled with blankness, and blankness is just another form of waste. The courage to pick up the brush, even when you feel uncertain, is what creates beauty. An artist does not wait for a perfect brushstroke before beginning. They begin, and through the process, the picture takes shape. In the same way, you must dare to act today, to live today, to create today, because waiting robs your canvas of the colors it deserves. What colors are you choosing for your canvas? Are you filling it with bitterness, negativity, and fear, or are you painting it with kindness, growth, and courage? Each word you speak is a stroke. Each action you take is a stroke. Each decision you make is a stroke. And the sum of these small strokes creates the image of your life. If you want your canvas to reflect joy, then you must paint joy into your moments. If you want it to reflect purpose, you must paint purpose into your actions. The beauty of a canvas is that no one stroke defines it, but together they create the masterpiece. Ladies and gentlemen, life does not demand grand achievements every single day. Sometimes the most beautiful canvases are not those filled with bold, dramatic colors, but those made of quiet, consistent strokes that bring harmony to the picture. You do not need to change the world in a single day, but you must add something of value, however small, to the canvas you are given. A kind gesture, an hour of focus, a moment of reflection, an act of love. These are brushstrokes that may seem small, but collectively, they create a masterpiece far greater than anything dramatic done once in a while. There will also be days when the canvas does not look the way you imagined. The strokes may feel messy, the colors may seem dull, and you may think you have ruined it beyond repair. But life is not about creating a flawless painting, it is about creating an honest one. Mistakes on your canvas do not destroy the picture. They add character, depth, and meaning. Some of the most beautiful works of art are not perfect. They are powerful because they carry the story of struggle, imperfection, and resilience. In the same way, your days may not always be smooth, but if you keep painting, if you keep showing up, the overall canvas of your life will reveal a beauty that imperfection only strengthens. Every day is an opportunity for renewal. Yesterday's strokes are behind you, unchangeable, but today's canvas is fresh. No matter how messy yesterday looked, today you are handed a new page. That is the mercy of life. You are never trapped in the mistakes of the past as long as you are willing to pick up the brush again. The only true failure is to put the brush down and surrender to blankness. Each sunrise is proof that life is offering you another canvas. The question is whether you will paint with intention or leave it untouched. Ladies and gentlemen, live with urgency, not delay. Too many people waste their lives waiting for the perfect time, forgetting that the perfect time does not exist. They tell themselves they will start tomorrow, they will forgive tomorrow, they will love tomorrow, they will pursue their dreams tomorrow. But tomorrow is a fragile promise, a hope, not a guarantee. The only moment you truly own is now, this breath, this heartbeat, this very second. And yet, most people live as though they have an endless supply of days, endlessly postponing the life they are meant to live. The truth is, life is short and unpredictable. No matter how carefully we plan, none of us can know how many days we have been granted. Every single person who has ever lived has had a final sunrise, a final meal, a final conversation. But the tragedy is not death itself. The tragedy is reaching the end with a heart full of regrets about the things we delayed. Regret does not come from what we did. It comes from what we never did, what we kept postponing, what we always thought there would be more time for. That is why urgency is not about being anxious or restless. It is about recognizing the preciousness of time and refusing to waste it. Living with urgency means waking up each day with the awareness that this day matters. It means not waiting for some grand future moment to begin living fully, but instead choosing to make today meaningful. Too many people live in the illusion of someday. Someday I will write the book. Someday I will spend time with my children. Someday I will heal my relationships. Someday I will change my habits. But someday is not on the calendar. Someday is an excuse that robs today of its power. Urgency replaces someday with today. Urgency whispers, do it now, because later may never come. Ladies and gentlemen, urgency does not mean rushing through life without pause. It means giving your full presence and energy to what matters most. It is the opposite of wasting time on things that do not add value to your life or to the lives of others. It is choosing action over procrastination, forgiveness over pride, love over neglect, courage over fear. Urgency asks you to stop waiting for the stars to align and to start walking toward your destiny, even if the path feels uncertain. The greatest progress is made not by those who had perfect conditions, but by those who moved forward despite the imperfections. Every great achievement in history was born from someone's decision to act with urgency. They did not wait until they had all the answers, until they felt fully prepared, or until everyone approved. They acted because they knew that delay is the enemy of destiny. Delay kills more dreams than failure ever could. Failure can teach you, shape you, and redirect you, but delay keeps you stagnant, robbing you silently while you believe you still have time. Urgency, on the other hand, fuels courage. It pushes you to take that first step, to speak that word, to seize that opportunity, to live with the knowledge that time is slipping through your fingers, whether you use it or not. Living with urgency also changes the way you treat people. It reminds you that the people in your life will not be here forever, and neither will you. That realization should push you to love more deeply, to forgive more quickly, to say the words you often leave unsaid. How many relationships remain broken, not because reconciliation was impossible, but because someone was waiting for the right time to reach out? How many hearts remain distant because of delayed words of love and appreciation? Urgency tells you to speak now, to love now, to cherish now, because later may never come. Ladies and gentlemen, when you live with urgency, you stop tolerating mediocrity in your own life. You stop wasting time on endless complaints, gossip, and distractions. You start asking yourself with every decision, is this how I want to spend the precious minutes of my life? That question is powerful because it strips away the meaningless and leaves only what is essential. When you recognize that each hour is a gift that cannot be replaced, you begin to value your time differently. You start choosing wisely, and those wise choices compound into a life of meaning. The call to urgency is a call to wake up, to live awake instead of drifting asleep through the hours of your life. It is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters most. It is about realizing that every dream, every act of love, every courageous step must be lived now, not postponed until tomorrow. Because when tomorrow comes, it will be today again. And if you keep waiting, your whole life will pass in waiting. Urgency is the choice to stop waiting and start living. Ladies and gentlemen, your day is like a blank canvas, and your actions are the brush strokes. Paint with intention, paint with courage, paint with love. Because the way you use your day is the way you shape your destiny. So I leave you with this thought. Don't just exist. Don't just pass through time. Use your entire day wisely. And in doing so, you will transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you.